Megan's favorite part of these classes is my cool dance moves. So this is for you. Welcome everybody to the last Canva class of a three-part series that we've been doing for the last couple months. So, we've been focusing on food businesses the last couple weeks, specifically in Canva, which kind of makes sense that we're going to be talking about menus today. If you are a restaurant owner, a food truck owner, even if you are like doing pop-up events or you're catering, like you kind of need that piece of paper, right? That people can look at. Takeout menus, kid menus, wine menus, whatever you're selling, people sometimes just need to see it on a good 8x10 piece of paper. So we're going to talk menus today. That being said, I invite all of you to please introduce yourself in the comments. I see some people watching. Jillian, hey, Angel, thanks for watching. It always is good to know that there are people on the other end of this crazy computer that I'm looking at, because sometimes I do feel like a crazy person talking to myself in a room, just I don't know, by myself all the time. So this is the last Square One and Food Ed class of 2021. So exciting, and we are excited about the all the possibilities of our 2022 programming. And we hope you guys, make sure to like our Facebook page. Make sure you're checking in to see all the really cool events that we're going to have coming up in the next year. And fingers crossed that this in-person programming is just right around the corner. So we're excited to see everybody's happy, smiling faces, and hopefully these are food businesses too, because I need to show up to the events with the food. I'm hungry, you guys. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. It's worth noting that this is a Canva class, and so it would be awesome if you guys would create a free Canva account so you guys can really play around with it and learn more about this really awesome tool. I'm going to try to keep up with questions the best I can. I'm actually not seeing any on my phone, so I may have to bounce back and forth between screens. That's going to look a little weird, but I trust that you guys will just follow along with me because you're awesome like that. So we're talking menus today. So whether you have a restaurant, a food truck, whatever that may be, sometimes hiring a graphic designer is going to be, well, not sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be very, very expensive to hire a graphic designer, especially when it comes to your menu. Menus are something that food business owners hold near and dear to their heart. So we want to make sure that it really speaks to the brand of your business, whatever that may be. Another thing is that menus change, right? And so maybe you hired a graphic designer to design this really awesome menu for you, and you gave them everything that you are going to be serving. Well, what if you add a new dish? What if you take something away? There's so many changes that happen to a menu constantly. And so it's really important to be in control of your menu, right? So if you do it for free on Canva, if you add something, perfect, just jump on canva.com, add it in there, and then print some more menus. Like, you're good to go. So just food for thought. A lot of people like to utilize the chalkboard menus. Digital menus are really cool with the TV screen. That all being said, you really have to have something of a design. And maybe if you're one of those really cool artistic people with the chalk art, maybe this class isn't for you. But if you're like 99% of the population that can't draw beautiful designs on a chalkboard, then you're in the right spot. So what we always like to do is utilize our little search box up here at the top. And I like to just type in the word menu and see what pops up here. So you're going to see lots of different options. You've got your typical 8.5 by 11 menu. That's your standard sheet of paper. There's also landscape menus. It's basically just turned on its side. These are things that we can play around with a little bit. And if you want to get really specific, if you have a cafe or you want a specific dessert menu, play around with that. But if we default to just the suggested menu, we're going to get all of those design templates that we can choose from. So that's what we would select. That will open up in, Christmas is right around the corner, right? So a lot of Christmas dinner menu stuff going on. So if you're doing a holiday pop-up, might be good to have a specific menu for Christmas, but that's probably not the case, at least for right now. So you would start with created a blank menu. and that is going to open up your new tab. I've already selected a couple templates because I wanted you guys to see some differences in what has already been created. So again, Canva is really great for beginners, and it's great for people who like shortcuts. Now, a lot of people have probably told you, like, there are no shortcuts in life. You've got to just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and do everything the hard way, right? Well, it's not the case, right? Like, shortcuts are good. We want people to take shortcuts because it's efficient, right? It saves you time, it saves you money. Whatever it saves you, you get to put all that energy back into your business. So I love templates. I love taking the shortcut and using a template. We just have to change a couple things, right? So this particular one was called like fancy French menu. I don't know about you. Maybe you have a fancy French restaurant. I mean, it's not really my vibe. I'm kind of like a cheeseburger type of person. So I might want to change the vibe of this particular menu around a little bit. First thing I want to show you is that this menu right now, even though it fits in that screen, it's all the text is so tiny on my screen that it's like impossible, one, for you probably to see it right now. Two, it's going to be nearly impossible for me to edit. So something that I probably haven't shown you guys before in any of these classes is this drag bar over here. It's your zoom, right? So now we can really zoom in and we can see exactly what's going on in this menu. So if we wanted to take a template like this and really make it our own, we might start off with taking out this particular logo and adding our logo in. And then how we would do that is go into our uploads. We want to upload media, and then you would select that logo from your computer. Let's see what I can find here. I've uploaded the Square One logo about 1,000,001 times to Canva, but 1,000,001 is not too bad either. All right, so once we've got that logo uploaded, all we need to do is select it. It drops it into this lovely design. We can shrink it up a little bit. And I want you to see something. When it dropped the logo in, it actually put the logo behind the text, which is fine. It just makes it really hard for us to move this around. I can still drag it up and down, but if this were a problem and you started moving things around that you didn't mean to, all we need to do is, while it's selected, go up here to position, and we're going to bring it to the very front. Now that logo is in front of the text, and we can more easily move this around. So I'm going to bring it up here to this little box. In fact, we don't really need that box there anymore because our logo kind of stands out. Let's make it a little bigger. This is going to be like, I don't know, a Square One restaurant for business owners to take their clients out for lunch or something. So we've got our logo here. Now, if you haven't created a logo or you don't have a logo just yet, hey, you can use Canva, right? Canva is a really awesome tool, not only for creating menus, but for creating logos, social posting, anything that you want to put out online, you can probably do it in Canva. If you need logo design help, feel free to reach out to me. Megan can drop my email in the chat because she's really awesome and we really appreciate her. So if anybody's still watching and wants to be like super engaging and make Megan really happy, drop a clapping emoji in the comments. That would brighten her day a little bit. Reach out to me and we can always chat about logo design, menu design, anything like that. So we've got our logo in there. Another thing we might want to think about is the fact that, well, besides the content itself, there's a giant Eiffel Tower here in the background. Well, I'm not a French restaurant. I'm going to be like a burger diner, right? So I'm just going to select that. We're zoomed in a little far, so let me zoom back out. See this? Like, it's very, very faint there in the background, but we've got this Eiffel Tower in the very back. I'm just going to take that out. If we want to throw something else in the back, we can do that later. But for now, for the sake of getting everything the way we want it, we're going to just leave it like this. Let's zoom back in. As far as design goes, it's kind of proven in like menu psychology that people's eyes, when they look at a menu for the first time, tends to go to the top right. So if you have some main dishes or like your more expensive dishes or the special of the day, whatever that is, those are the things that you really want to put on the right-hand side, especially that top right. Now they see main dishes. Okay, cool. They're going to go through that. Now they're going to see all these French dishes. Well, that's not for us, right? So this is something where you're going to want to obviously change unless your menu is exactly this. And even if it is, which would be wild, you're still going to want to play around with the prices. So a good way for us to do that is to just select that first thing on the menu, and we can say cheeseburger. And let's cap this cheeseburger at maybe it's a $9.99 cheeseburger. With we're rolling in we're going diner diner here, you guys. These are not gonna be world quality, finest, beautiful cheeseburgers. These are like Steak and Shake burgers. No hate on Steak and Shake. Love Steak and Shake. All right, and then you can kind of see, if we wanted to have that description there, you could do that. If you want to leave descriptions off your menu, that's completely up to you. If you're a French restaurant, or if you're a restaurant that caters to lots of clientele, like maybe you serve something different, like world cuisines or something that's people are not always familiar with, you definitely want to give a little description of what that may be, right? So we see like the risotto. Okay, well, risotto is not necessarily something that people eat on a daily basis. If you say cheeseburger, they probably know what they're getting, but you could at least put like, 100% like all beef patty on sesame bun. This is not a Big Mac commercial. Whatever the cheese is, does it come with pickles? Does it come with onions? List those things on there. But specifically, if you're serving something that people are not eating all the time, you want to make sure that you're explaining what the ingredients are and what flavors they're going to get from eating this specific thing. I'm not going to go through and change every single one of these. That would take forever and it would really waste your time. But you can see that all we have to do is select the text and type something. Ooh, can't spell, you guys. You already know. Right here. That's all we have to do, right? We just put our own text in and double click to change it. Easy peasy, right? So you might be thinking, okay, well, this is great, but I don't actually have that many main courses. That's fine too. Another cool thing about these templates is that when I select the big box itself, these three little dots are going to give me more options. Now, because I can select mains, I can select my cheeseburger, I can select the description, I can select all of these little things, but when I move this around, it all moves together. It's because it's grouped, right? So I'm going to select it and I'm going to ungroup. Now look at all those things that have been selected. Now, this is where your formatting could potentially get messed up when you start ungrouping things. But for the sake of giving yourself more space to do more things, you might want to play around with ungrouping things that are already grouped in the templates. So I'm going to ungroup these, and now individually I can take these out. Easy peasy. No extra clicks. I can open myself up down here. Maybe I only have like 5 cheeseburgers and 2 chicken finger baskets. Like that's what I'm serving. So I want to make sure that I've got enough room up here to just have what I do. So maybe I've got some appetizers, some salads over here. I've got my main courses. I could add some beverage options. I can add a photo here if I wanted to. You've opened yourself up for a little extra something there. So don't be afraid to play around with the template. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the color, right? Like, I don't know about you, but you're probably not going to find a template that matches your specific colors 100% of the time. That's nearly impossible. So when it comes to something like this, we've kind of got this like grayish brown background and the tan gold text and outlined with like some white text smaller. If we come over here to the left-hand side and we go to styles, if you've updated your brand kit in Canva, which I can show you how to do in a one-on-one, but if you haven't updated your brand kit, go ahead and do that. But you can kind of name them, food ed, business food trucks. We've got the Mid-Continent logo colors there. Now, if I were to click on this Square One brand kit, it's going to brand the entire menu using the colors that we have already decided were Square One colors. And we could play around with that. That's a lot of blue. But if I clicked it again, it would default to a black background with white text. Probably if I click it again, white background, black text, blue outlines, right? So really play around with it. Update those brain kits. And if we use something like the food ed, we can get a couple more options there. Or if you scroll down a little bit, especially if you're a new restaurant, maybe you only have one, main logo color that you're playing around with. Play with some of these color, they call them hues, or they're brand colors that go really well together. So these have already been some like graphic designer with a degree in the thing has already said, what, these colors work really good together, and they're going to work really good for you as well. So if you find something in here that maybe works for you and works for your business, they're not all gonna, look just exactly right. But if I was going with like the square one blue, we've got the logo that doesn't have any of the other colors, but it just has the blue and the black, right? Well, this one has that same kind of blue as well, but it kind of gives me that little pop of color with the yellow and the red. So we can play around with that. Now, this is maybe a bad example because there's not many color options to choose from. But if I scroll down to something like this, you can see how that changes just by a click of a button. And all of a sudden it changes the entire feel of the menu, right? If I can even come down here, this is a Mexican restaurant menu. Well, the Mexican restaurant menus typically have like a vibe to them, right? Like this is a pretty typical Mexican restaurant menu. It's got the bright oranges, the reds, the yellows, the greens, right? Like this is very reminiscent of almost any Mexican restaurant you're going to eat at. But if you wanted to play around with it a little bit, this one's called pumpkin pie, but it still is kind of those warm colors. Click on that, and all of a sudden it's changed it without us having to go individually change each one of those colors. So it's a really cool tool that Canva provides you, and it's like one of my favorite things. I could probably sit here for the next 10 minutes and just click on all of these different designs. This one looks like, hey, if you've got an ice cream shop and you have a menu for that ice cream shop, like this looks good for that, right? And all we would have to do is take out this sugar skull and put a picture of an ice cream cone in there. Let's do that. Let's go to our elements if we're going to look for an ice cream cone. This one looks good. Let's zoom in so we can see exactly what we're doing. And we're going to bring that up. We're going to make it smaller, and it's going to fit right in that little circle right there. Now, this is giving me the option if I want to change the colors of my ice cream. Of course, I could do that. Make it a little darker. That kind of blends into the background a little much. That one's fine. Strawberry ice cream. Who doesn't love it? All right, so we can zoom back out. Here we've got a picture of a taco. Let's get rid of that. And let's see if we can, let's do an ice cream sundae. Beautiful. All right. You can also click on graphics and you're going to get all of those like cartoons, basically. Little banana split. How about that? All right, let's pull that down in there. And we've kind of, played around with this enough that all we would really have to do is change the title, swap out the text, and we've got a menu for an ice cream shop. You guys love it? I love it. I love Canva. I like all the shortcuts. There's another thing that I want to mention is fonts, right? If you have brand fonts, you can upload them into Canva. The way you do that is on the home page, going into your brand kit, you can upload fonts right here. Now, you might not have that file of a font, but if you just do a quick Google search, you can Avenir font. This is a pretty popular one. Freefontfamily.com. If you click on that, you can literally download all of the Avenir fonts, and it'll be a file in your computer, and all you have to do is click that upload button and select which font you want to upload. And those would be become available to you in your computer in your Canva account. So that's really cool. Also, you can choose your own fonts in there. We like the Open Sans for Square One. There's a lot of really awesome stuff in there. But if you don't have a specific font in mind, and you kind of want to see what fonts look good, what fonts work really well for restaurants versus food trucks. Canva has this Learn tab up at the top, and if we select that, don't lose me here, you guys. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and under resources, there's something called font combinations, and it's a whole guide to what fonts work really well together, and it gives you examples, right? So this one's called design publication, like what looks good. Okay, well, the big bold headline, this specific is called League Spartan, and then we get into Libre Baskerville, right? Like that's your like subheading sort of, and it's in that 27-point italic. Then we go even smaller, and that's your standard copy text. So if you really want to get into fonts and the psychology behind some of that, play around with some of this. We can see what it looks like here, and then in action, this is what that looks like. So this is like a design magazine or something. You've got your title, you've got your subheading, and then you've got the copy itself. Now, that was just one example. Another thing that you could do is if you don't want to like read this really, really long guide, it's great, but I get it if you don't have the time. We can come back over here to our design, go back into the styles option. I'm going to select that. Now, I was playing around under colors, but I'm going to go into fonts now. Now, it has my brand kit already uploaded in here. So because we are creating a square one, burger menu, all I have to do is select that, and it's changing all of my big, bold titles to my Open Sans extra bold font, and it's giving me those subheadings and the copy that Open saw semi-bold, right? It has changed it automatically, which is saving you the time of selecting each one, going to the font, changing it out to the exact one that you want, one at a time. Takes forever. So instead, we go to our styles, we hit that the brand kit, boom, we're good to go, right? Now we can play around with this. We can make it bold, we can make it bigger. We can even change the color of it if we wanted to do a blue. Let's give it a white background. You guys see that the possibilities here are endless, right? There is also some, psychology to boxes, right? You've got a special or a certain deal. If you put it in a box, you're going to grab people's attention to the box. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys how to do, if you have a fancy restaurant or, something where the menu has a very distinct look, this may not be an option for you. But if you have a smaller restaurant, or like family restaurant or a diner, something that's not like $100 a plate, you might consider using a QR code on your menu. And that QR code can lead to your website. Maybe you would offer a 5%, 10% discount on a meal if they sign up for emails from you. That's a great way to get leads, right? You want to be collecting that information. That's why when you go into any like huge chain restaurant, they're like, hey, like sign up for a birthday. You get a free appetizer on your birthday, free dessert on your birthday, like whatever that may be. Listen, I will 100% of the time go to Outback around my birthday to get that blooming onion for free. Is it only like $8? Yes. Do I care? No, because it's free and I will go one time a year to get that blooming onion. So people actually do sign up for those things, but you have to give them the option to do that. So adding a QR code is really easy. We come over here again to our left-hand side. We scroll down. If you don't see it over here, it's probably just because you haven't used it before. If it doesn't pop up here, it's going to be under your More tab. Click on that. And then there's a lot of apps and integrations that Canva has access for you to use. Click that QR code, and all you're going to do is copy and paste a URL in there. So whatever the landing page is, if it's, sign up for this this event that we're doing next week, or sign up for emails, or maybe it's just like us on Facebook. This URL could be your Facebook page. So whatever that is, let's just do facebook.com We're going to generate that code. And it gives us a little code that we can make bigger, we can make smaller. Probably the smaller the better. We don't want a giant QR code taking up too much of our menu. But I can, maybe I say right here, sign up. Actually, I'm going to say like us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. And then here, I'm going to up the ante, and I'm going to say, if you like us and review us on Facebook, we will give you a free dessert on your next visit. All right, who wants to play around with the psychology of this one, right? What am I getting out of this? Well, I'm getting a like, good for social media. I'm getting a review, even better on social media, if it's good, fingers crossed. And they're doing this because they're getting something in return. They're getting a free dessert on their next visit. So that means you don't have to give them anything free today. And you're getting them back in to buy some more stuff. Because I'm guessing they're not coming in just for dessert. They're going to have to eat some food and then they're going to get a free dessert. So you're making more money just by having that offer right there on your menu. Doesn't need to be this big. It can be considerably smaller. But the way that people use QR codes is they have their phones. I can do that right now. They open up their camera and they scan the code. This is asking me, do you want to open up Facebook.com? I sure do. And there we go. It opened up my Facebook class that's currently happening right now. There's 6 people watching. Hi, 6 people. All right. So that is how to add a QR code onto your menu, which is, again, maybe a good idea if you are trying to really gain some more customers, or if you have a discount, or if you have big events that you're going to be, posting about. Another thing I want to talk about is like menu size, right? So if you do have like a sit down restaurant, sometimes your menu is going to be bigger than just one page, right? So what you can do is, let's come back over to our template tab and let's scroll down a little ways. I'm going to add a page, give it a white background. And of course you can search out different templates here. But if we just scroll down until we find one that we really like, this is like a breakfast restaurant. Okay. Yeah, those are eggs. I couldn't tell. So anyway, so maybe we really like something like this. It's got omelets, pancakes, waffles, coffee. Well, this is good for a breakfast menu, but maybe you also do lunch and dinner. All you have to do is add a page, or excuse me, let's delete that. You have to duplicate the page. So this button right here, duplicate your page, and it's going to give you the exact same style. And it gives you the option. Now you can swap out the text here, swap out the colors, swap out whatever graphics you need to put in there, put your logo in there, really make it your own, and then duplicate it, and then go through, and you could really take out that top portion because it's on the front page. You could take out this line, and in the event that this was like a lunch menu, we can add some text in here that says lunch, move that up to the top here, and because I've got all the space, let's move it up a little higher, I can select these specific groups of text. I can do multiple if I hold down the shift button. So I'm shifting all of these, and now I can move them together. But what I'm going to do is actually duplicate again. There we go. All right. So now I can pull this up even further, and now I've given myself a lot more options for my lunch menu. Maybe I've got soups, maybe I've got sandwiches, maybe I have burgers, maybe I have pizzas, whatever that may be. You can separate those out into those different categories. So don't feel constrained by the template. Really choose to make it your own. And if, again, you guys, if you have questions, if I've done nothing but confuse you and frustrate you in Canva? Well, I want to know about that, first of all, but I really want you guys to schedule a one-on-one with me. We can share screens. We can sit down next to each other. If you guys want to meet me at a branch, I would love to get out of my little box every now and then. We can meet with you and I can sit down and we can really play around with the design of your menu. We can play around with the design of your logo. We can play around with your social media posts, whatever that may be. But I'm really excited about more and more people utilizing Canva. One, because it's free. There's a lot of free resources for businesses, but there's not near enough. And so utilizing something as important as Canva for your social media posting, your marketing, your branding, your advertising, your Instagram stories, your menus, your labels, whatever that is, we want to make sure that you guys are getting the most bang for your buck. And sometimes when you hire someone, that creative vision doesn't get adequately translated, right? Through an email or through a phone call. But if you can see it in your head, you can probably make it on Canva. And if you can see it in your head and you can't exactly figure out how to make it in Canva, there are awesome Canva experts that work at the library that would really like to help you out. I'm talking about myself. I want to meet with you and help you guys out with your Canva design. So all that being said, I'm not actually seeing any questions pop up on my phone, but could be missing them because technology is crazy sometimes. Let me jump over here into this crazy screen. Thanks, Megan, for all the good feedback. Yeah, so all that being said, I want to make sure that you guys please reach out to me for one-on-one. If you have any questions that come up, feel free to drop those in the comments of the post. And also you can message me, email me. I've got an awesome Calendly link that you guys can just schedule directly with me. And maybe more importantly than all that, we have a survey that I want you to fill out. Now, usually when I say survey, people are like, bye, bounce, got to get out of here. But this particular survey is really, really important. And I'll tell you why. It's important because, like I mentioned earlier, this is the last class that Square One and Food Ed are going to be putting on for 2021, which means that the surveys that you guys fill out right now are the very last surveys that are going to go into our whole entire year of programming surveys. So we're going to look at these and we're going to see what our numbers were. We're going to see what those stats look like. And those surveys are going to determine how the programming of 2022 goes and what stuff gets added in, what stuff gets taken out. So it's really, really important to me right now that if you could just take like 2 minutes, because I'm pretty sure that's how long it takes, maybe less, 2 minutes of your time to fill out that survey for me. It would really, really appreciate it. And until 2022, you guys, I am going to log off of StreamYard for the last time for 2 weeks. I needed a much needed break, but I'm really excited to meet with you guys one-on-one and talk more about Canva and your business. So I will see you guys next year. Bye.